wanna be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. Why I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that that's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. Be sure to head to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. We got some new merch dropping here next week, so be active over there at manhourradio.com. Check it out and be the first one to get the new Man Hour logo. All you refs out there, hashtag refs. We got some ref jerseys coming too. Just for Combsy, we're going to have the nice black and... No, Combs. Not black and white. We're going to make it black and lime green stripes with the big old Man Hour logo on it. Hashtag refs on the black. We're going to give you guys everything that you want. Hashtag merch gear. Throw that flag because Combs is upset already. But we got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself. Up on his cloud nine after a great interview today. You guys are going to get an hour number 2. Combsy, what's going on, big guy?
What is going on, Michael Buckheiser? What is going on, Man Hour Nation? Not even that new damn logo could get me down today, man. I just got done interviewing Andrew Romine, and it was a blast. And let me tell you that this is probably one of the most down-to-earth professional athletes that I've ever met in my entire life. It was a blast, and it was more than just an interview. We actually talked baseball. And when you talk baseball with somebody who is a part of the game and who played the game professionally, it's a different conversation and it's a different feel. And we get into some stuff. We talk about steroid era, find out what he thinks about Barry Bonds getting in the Hall of Fame just a little bit.
Yeah, so Combs and his interview is coming up here on hour number 2 on the Man Hour. But the guys, there have been some big blockbuster trades here in the Major League not Major League Baseball and National Basketball Association. Nothing's happening in baseball right now because they're locked out.
Wait, basketball's still a thing?
Apparently, All-Stars happening game or something. It's Team LeBron versus Team KD or something like that, and who really cares? But Bill Simmons is out in Philly. James Harden is gone in Brooklyn. Who else got traded? There are a bunch of trades, a bunch of trades. But
that Harden one was a big one, man.
Yeah,
because everybody was talking about if the Nets just get healthy, they're going to be the team to beat in the East, and that just shook up the entire landscape of the East because now there is no if they get healthy. Now they don't have Harden. They only have Irving for half of the games because he can't play at home.
Yeah,
and KD is like he strains his mangina once a week. So it's just one of those things. Now it changes the whole landscape of the East. My Bulls are looking really good in the East right now.
Yeah, they are, and the reason why KD is consistently getting hurt is because his mom's not there to make him home cooked meals anymore. So he's really upset.
His mangina.
Yeah, he's definitely really upset about that. But guys, last night's show got way off track. We weren't expecting Luke to jump on, and we weren't expecting to go down that Tom Brady hole or like anything. What?
That didn't go off track. It was Man Hour, baby. Live, raw, and uncut.
Exactly. But we did not get to our Super Bowl prediction, Combs, like the over-unders, who was going to win, and like all that stuff. And, Super Bowl is what? 2 days away now, right? Shoot. Like, we're like, 50-some hours till Super Bowl, and I'm kind of getting excited and kind of not. I don't know. I just saw a crazy story that the Cincinnati tied in C.J. Uzma, saying when the Cincinnati Bengals win, he is going to bathe in a tub of chili. Would you bathe in a tub of chili to win a Super Bowl?
First of all, I am not bathing in a tub of chili for anything. Especially if I'm in Ohio, because it's probably that skyline crap. So, no, he can bathe in look, you make millions of dollars to play the game of football, and you just win a Super Bowl. I mean, do whatever the hell you want, but I think there are lots of things that I would bathe in after that, if you catch my drift. But chili is not one of them.
Were you referring to the word pussy? We're going to bathe in pussy?
No, no, come on.
I like penises. What are you talking about?
Stop. Oh, man.
But
oh,
yeah,
boy.
I mean, shoot, I would not bathe in chili.
And demonetized.
That's okay, because I like talking about wet pussy.
Oh, my God.
So anyways, my mom is in the chat. Hello, Mama Buck. I just saw you pop in there, so welcome to the show, Mom. So, Combs, let's get into our Super Bowl over-under picks here. So, obviously, guys, we do have the LA Rams taking on the Cincinnati Bengals here. The Rams, the last checked, was a 3.5 favorite in this in this game. So, Combs, the first number that we have up here is for Mr. Joe Burrow himself. Joe freaking Burrow, smoking Cuban cigars. So over under, Joe Burrow will have 265.5 yards passing in the Super Bowl.
I am going to go over. I think that the Rams are dumb enough to believe that Jalen Ramsey, and I think Jalen Ramsey is dumb enough to believe that he can cover Jamar Chase one-on-one. And that's not going to happen. And they're going to beat him deep a couple of times. And that is going to pad those stats just a little bit. And I'm going to go over. I'm going to say that he's actually probably going to be, if the number was 360, I might go over.
Yeah, well, 360 is a lot. And, this is kind of going to get to basically my pick here right off the bat, just because I told you guys last night that I think Joe Burrow basically has to play almost a perfect game to win this game. And I don't think he is going to throw for 265 yards. I think the Rams are going to basically take away the passing game for them and make them beat them on the run, make them run into the heart of the defense over and over and over again. So I'm going to go under with the 265, not because Joe Burrow isn't good, just because I think the Rams are going to try to force them into running the ball a lot. So you're going to see a lot of double coverages on Jamar Chase, like a lot of zones. And so it's going to be a lot of nickel and diming down the field, I think, in the end. So on the flip side of that quarterback, do we have have here? We have Mr. Underrated himself, Matthew Stafford, but he has thrown some big interceptions this year, Combs. So over under, he will throw 2.5 interceptions in the Super Bowl.
I'm going to go over. I think that a lot of people are really underestimating the Cincinnati Bengals defensive line. I think the Cincinnati Bengals have a lot of playmakers, a lot of guys that, let's face it, people just don't know who they are because they're the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think that they're going to force Matt Stafford into some uncomfortable situations. And I really think that Matt Stafford is going to be forced to pressure the ball, and he's going to try to throw it into some tight coverages, and he's going to be trying to avoid sacks.
Ooh.
And I think he's going to throw, I would say, probably 3 interceptions. So I'm going over here.
Wow. So yeah, I guess the last quarterback to throw 3 interceptions in a Super Bowl ultimately end up winning the Super Bowl, right? And Tom Brady, but
Trey Hendrickson is a beast. I mean, Trey Hendrickson. Everybody wants to talk about Aaron Donald on the other side of the ball for the Rams. Trey Hendrickson is a stud, and he is every bit as good. He's one of the best defensive ends in this game, and if you haven't watched him all playoffs long, he is going to wreak havoc.
Yeah, unfortunately, with him being in Cincinnati, like a lot of people don't know who he is, but if Aaron Donald wasn't in the league, he would be the defensive player of the year, I bet. I mean, he is a very, very good talent on that side of the ball. You definitely nailed that on the spot of the head. But this game, we are going to see what kind of coach Sean McVay is, just because Matthew Stafford cannot beat the Cincinnati Bengals single-handedly. He cannot be consistently pushing the ball down the field over and over and over again. The Rams need to utilize Cam Akers and Sony Michel in this game. So if Matthew Stafford does get over 2.5 interceptions in this game, the Rams will lose. So I'm going to go under. I think he might have 2 interceptions, but he will not get that third just because hopefully Sean McVay will reel him in a little bit and not make stupid plays in the end. So for you Rams fans out there that, like, I don't think anybody is really rooting for the Rams. Like, I haven't heard anybody really rooting for the Rams, but there are Rams fans out there. I mean, there's more Matthew Stafford fans than like Ram fans, but you guys better hope he doesn't throw 2.5 interceptions because you guys are going to get beat.
He's thrown the most interceptions of any quarterback in the league this year.
Yeah, he has. And I don't know how they are where they're at because some of them have been stupid. We saw that little underhand pass in the end zone. We've seen him throw into triple coverage several times, and it's just like sometimes you don't know what the kid's thinking. Like is like he has too much faith in his arm skills. Like I don't know. But now let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball, Combs. We saw the Tennessee Titans get 9 sacks against the Cincinnati Bengals. They gave up 0 sacks versus the Kansas City Chiefs. However, the LA Rams defensive line is arguably the best defensive line in all of football, especially since they've added Von Miller to that lineup. So over under 3.5 sacks for the LA Rams in the Super Bowl.
I am going to go over. Nobody has been sacked more than Joe Burrow. Nobody has sacked more quarterbacks than the Los Angeles Rams front seven. I think it's a recipe for a bunch of sacks. So I'm going over here. I'm going to say over. I'm going to say they're going to have somewhere around 5 sacks.
So let's flash back to the regular season here. I don't know, like week 5, week 6. The Bengals put up like 45 points, right? The very next week, they're scoring 3 points and getting blown out by like the Cincinnati Browns or the Cleveland Browns, right? Or like, I mean, obviously that's not right, but you know, we talked about them all season long of being bipolar. We don't know who they are. Like, we cannot put an accurate gauge on the Cincinnati Bengals because we don't know who they are going to be week to week to week. So with that being said, they have been pretty consistent since they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. What, week 17 or week 16? I can't remember for sure. But at some point
15.
they are going to fall back. Their old bipolar ways are going to come back and bite them in the ass. And I think it is this game. They are definitely going to get the Cincinnati Bengals will allow over 3.5 sacks in this game. Hell, Aaron Donald alone might have 3 sacks in this game. He is dangerous for whatever reason. He is a man among men. Von Miller out there. Who is the other interior guy? Leonard, I think his name is.
Leonard Floyd.
Yeah.
Leonard Floyd.
So I mean, he is probably going to eat as well. So yeah, the Rams will definitely get over 3.5 sacks. Combs, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they get 3 sacks in the first quarter. The first quarter alone, they'll have three sacks.
Wow. God, that's a lot. I mean, if they're doing that much, then this is going to be a long day for their fans. I don't know.
This is exactly what you wanted. You wanted the Rams to jump out 40 points early and watch the Bengals come back and win by 10, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what you wanted. Yeah. So
it's true.
So
not gonna lie, it's true.
So the running game, I think, is going to be a big key for this Super Bowl on both sides of the ball. Nickel and dime it down the field. So over under, Combs, Joe Mixon, the Cincinnati Bengals running back, the running back that I had a top 5 running back. You guys laughed at me. 1.5 touchdowns for Joe Mixon in the Super Bowl.
Under. I think that this is the Cincinnati attack is going to be through the air. They're going to spend a lot of time passing the ball. There's not going to be a whole lot of running. I think a majority of their scores are going to be of the 20+ yard ilk. Oh. And so I'm going to go under. He might get one, and he might have one, and he might break one. But I'm going to say under. I'm going to go 1.
So this is 1.5 total touchdowns, right? Just not on the ground or just not through the air, right? So I think Joe Mixon will have 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground and 1 through the air, just because there is going to be so much coverage on Jamar Chase all game long. Just because people have been talking up Jamar Chase since that Week 15 game when he got 266 yards versus the Chiefs, and then of course we still have T. Higgins and like Boyd, but I think Mixon is going to come out of the backfield and he's going to get a lot of 5-yard, 10-yard runs and passes. So I think he will find the end zone twice, like in this game, once through the air and once on the ground. And we've been speaking a lot about Jamar Chase and how big a talent he is, and he is kind of the X factor of this game. Yada yada yada. So Jamar Chase, Combs, 5.5 catches, like in this game, over under.
I'm going over, and I'm going like Super Bowl MVP over. I think he is going to have a phenomenal game. Like I said earlier in this segment, I think that the Rams are dumb enough to believe that Jalen Ramsey can cover Jamar Chase one-on-one. And if they do that, it's going to be a long day for Jalen Ramsey.
Right.
And Jamar Chase is going to have an incredible game.
If Jamar Chase doesn't have 5 catches in this game, the Bengals are getting blown out. Something is wrong. Like when I talked about the Rams getting three sacks in the first quarter, Jamar Chase might have 5 catches in the first quarter. So yeah, definitely over on that. Now Cooper Kupp, Mr. Triple Crown winner himself, 100 yards receiving in this game, over under.
2,000 yards in the regular season. Maybe one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the game right now.
That's a bold statement.
High-powered offense. Matthew Stafford, wanting to prove himself. All that being said, I'm going under. I'm going under 100 yards for Cooper Kupp. I think that the Bengals' main focus is going to be to take away Cooper Kupp from Matthew Stafford. I think that Trey Hendrickson is going to do a great job of pressuring Matt Stafford. It's going to force him to check down a lot. It's going to be one of those things. I think Cooper Kupp's going to eat. I think he's going to get his, a few catches here and there. I think he goes under 100 yards. So.
Yeah, last game when the Rams, who they played the 49ers, right? OBJ and Cooper Kupp both had over 100-yard receiving in that game. Like you said, Cooper Kupp is going to get his, but I don't think you want. If there was a receiver that I want to get beat by, it is Cooper Kupp. I don't want to get beat by Odell Beckham Jr. just because, for one, I dislike the guy. 2, he has an ego that would never let you hear the end of it. So Cooper Kupp just seems very, very humble. So I think he will get over his 100 yards in this game, and he might be the Super Bowl MVP in this game. So speaking of OBJ, he did have over 100 yards versus the 49ers. First time since 2019 that has happened. But 3.5 catches for OBJ.
I'm going over here. I think the fact that they're going to focus on Cooper Kupp, the fact that they're going to force a lot of checkdowns, mean that OBJ is going to get a lot more looks. So I'm going to go over 3.5. I think he's going to get somewhere in the 6 to 7, maybe even 8 or 9 catches for OBJ.
Yeah, I think the Rams will be very, very pass happy this particular game. So yeah, he's definitely going to get over 3.5 catches in this game. So speaking of sack master himself, Aaron Donald, 1.5 sacks, over under.
I'm going over. Look, again, nobody has sacked a quarterback more than this Rams defense. And Aaron Donald is playing at a different level. This man wants his ring.
Yep.
And I believe he is going to have an all-world effort. If he does not get to the quarterback at least twice, the Rams are not winning the Super Bowl. And so he's going to get there. He might have 2 in the first 2 plays because this man is hungry. He's playing at a different level. This is what he wants. This is his stage. This is what he's been asking for. And now he's got it. I think he's going to show up. Look, the guy is the best defensive end in football.
Yeah. So one thing about Aaron Donald is he never seems to line up in this in the same spot twice in a row, right? He's going left to right, middle, and inside out, just outside. So it is very hard to double team him, but they will be calling for a double team a lot on him. And if this was Von Miller's game, I would say Von Miller would have 2 sacks in this game. Aaron Donald will have 1, but he will not have 2. They are going to be double teaming him, chipping him with a running back all game long. They are not going to let Aaron Donald beat him. They'd rather have Floyd beat him or Von Miller get sacks. So speaking of rushing, Joe Burrow, 20.5 yards rushing in this game.
I'm going to go over because I think he's going to have to scramble a lot. They're going to be chasing him all over the place. I think the sacks are going to take some of those yardage away, but I do think he's going to end up having to rush for about at least 35 to 50 yards to keep making things happen. So I'm going to go over here.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they move the stats to passing yards? So when they get sacked, to take away from the passing yards, not the rushing yards now? I think that's what it is, right?
Really?
I
did
think
not know
so.
that.
I think so. I'm not for sure.
Stupid.
Yeah.
That's a stupid thing to do.
But yeah, exactly everything that you said. Joe Burrow might have 100 yards rushing because he will be running for his life a lot. Definitely over on that 100%.
So they take it away from the run. So basically what you're doing, if you're taking it away from the passing yards, then you're punishing the quarterback for getting sacked. It's not the quarterback's fault if he's getting sacked.
Well, I don't quote me on that.
It can be if you hang on to the ball too long, but that's
actually
usually not the case with Cincinnati. They just can't block anybody.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they may not even take yards away anymore, just because before it used to be rushing yards. Now I'm pretty sure it's not rushing yards, so it has to be passing.
Yeah.
I
always like the rushing yards thing because you take it away from the total rushing yards. That hurts the running back, and it's always the running back who misses the damn block that causes the damn quarterback to get sacked, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if he misses his chip block, right? Yeah, so definitely here. So speaking of running backs, Matthew Stafford is not a running back. So 0.5 rushing touchdowns for Matthew Stafford in the Super Bowl.
0.5?
Yeah. Is he going to get one or is he not? Simple as that.
Yes. And you know what? It might even be on a quarterback sneak to get a ball into the end zone. He's going to have a rushing yard.
No, a rushing touchdown.
Oh, touchdown. I thought you said yard.
Oh, yeah. He'll definitely have a yard.
Oh. Yeah. I'll give him one touchdown. I think he'll quarterback sneak one in. I mean, look, we talked about it yesterday about whether or not he's the easiest guy to root for in the Super Bowl. If he gets into the end zone in the Super Bowl on a quarterback sneak, he might cry. Because this might be the culmination of this man's career, right? I mean,
right? Yeah.
So
100%.
I if they get down close enough I'm gonna be rooting like hell for a quarterback sneak to see Matt Stafford in the end zone in the Super Bowl. And not only that, I'm gonna picture frame it and I'm gonna send it to Luke G.
There you go. That'd be beautiful, wouldn't it? So you remember? Was it yesterday or Monday that we were talking who are you rooting for more in the Super Bowl? Is it Joe Burrow or Matthew Stafford, right?
Yeah.
So Cindy was telling me a story about Matthew Stafford's wife had a brain tumor in her ear or something like that, and it caused her to lose her equilibrium, and she learned and she had to learn how to walk and all that stuff. They have twin girls, and I think they might have a son as well. So for Matthew Stafford to help take care of his wife, kids, and still play at a high level, such as the NFL, that was 2019, I believe it was. That makes me want to root for him even more, to be honest with you.
And I mean, the guy has always been, not only is he a supreme family man, like you just mentioned, but he's one of the toughest son of a bitches in the game.
Easily, yeah.
His rookie year, when Dante Culpepper got benched and Matt Stafford came in and he gets sacked on a play and he goes down and his shoulder is separated, not throwing shoulder, but his shoulder is separated. and he runs off the field. The other team calls a timeout, and you could hear him in pain on the sideline screaming, "No, I can't!" And he walks away from the doctors, runs away from the doctors. Actually, tells them to get off of him. Goes over to his coach. I can throw the ball if you need me to throw. They put him in the game, and he throws a game-winning touchdown pass.
No, it was a 2-point conversion, right?
No, it's a touchdown pass.
Oh, it's a touchdown pass.
They tied the game with the touchdown pass, and the extra point won the game. Like that was that sums up who this guy is.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you don't root for that.
Yeah. I mean, any team would love to have him. So
yeah.
I believe I said I was rooting for Joe Burrow more in this game. Did you just see that?
No.
I'm pretty sure a ghost just smacked me. Like, I felt it swoosh across my arm. I'm gonna have to replay that, but it went swoosh. I thought it was my son. Man, ghost, leave me alone, yo. But yeah, so yeah, like I'm gonna have to renege my answer, like after hearing that story of like about his wife. I'm gonna have to root for Matthew Stafford more.
See, I can root for both. Like I am really okay with whoever went for. It's been a long time since I could say this, but I'm really okay with whoever wins the Super Bowl. I'll be disappointed for whoever loses the Super Bowl too.
Right.
Like I will be extremely disappointed for if Matthew Stafford doesn't win, I'll be disappointed. But if Joe Burrow doesn't win, I'll be disappointed as well.
Right.
And this is the culmination of a guy who spent his entire career in a cesspool of Detroit, which is funny because I just interviewed Andrew Romine who talked about love playing in Detroit, but. That organization is just terrible. The Lions organization is awful.
You know what's awful? This Coke Zero.
Yeah, Coke Zero is terrible.
It's zero sugar.
Absolutely terrible.
Now more delicious.
But
Total
the culmination of that, but then you've also got a guy who's younger and coming up and who just beat the guy who everybody was hailing as the next GOAT, the guy who shared the Madden cover with Tom Brady, and a guy who people are already calling a Hall of Famer in Patrick Mahomes to get to this spot. Oh, by the way, with a team who hadn't won a playoff game in 30 years.
That's what happened when you have like 15
very hard to
first
not
round
root
picks.
for either side.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard to root for one or the other. But we do some people
and as
jump.
A Chiefs fan,
Yeah.
sorry, but as a Chiefs fan, don't you want the Bengals to win too? So you can say, "Hey, yeah, it was disappointing that we lost, but at least we lost to the team that won the Super Bowl."
Yes and no. I mean, I don't think that really happened. Like, I mean, it happens, but I don't really care one way or the other because we still lost. So it doesn't really matter.
I got you.
Matter to me one way or the other. But we do see some people jump into the chat. I see Drew in the chat. What's up, Drew? He said he's helping his son with homework. That's not good. Because Drew, we see you talk. we see you talk in the chat, and you might want to find. You might want to ask your wife.
he did spell boys with a Z, so
yeah.
Hopefully it's not spelling homework.
Yeah, or math, because 2 + 2 does equal 6 still, right? We do see Alpha Rob in the chat. What's up, Alpha Rob? Hashtag ref to you, my man. Throw those flags if you wish tonight. Ref gear is coming out soon. Drew says I'm rooting for the Rams. I mean, I'm not rooting for the Rams. I'm rooting for Matthew Stafford. I could care less about OBJ. So if you could just give Matthew Stafford and Aaron Donald Super Bowl rings, that would be fantastic. And screw everybody else. No, but yeah.
Yeah, and Alpha and Drew, guys, hang on, because here in the second hour we got that interview with Andrew Romine coming up, and it was a really great interview. I actually think that you guys will really enjoy it, so make sure you guys stay tuned because it was a really good conversation we had. Yeah,
so guys, here in about 30 minutes here on the Man Hour, we will be transitioning over to some baseball, so get excited about that. But for these last 20 to 30 minutes here, Combs, it's going to be strictly NFL. So obviously Thursday, tonight, the awards is out there for MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, all that good stuff out there. So let's make it a better, and let's give the Man Hour awards out. So this is all that matters. We should probably have a little Man Hour trophy made with the new logo and hashtag refs on it, and send it out to all these players. So, but
I'm sure they would support it too.
Right. But the 2021 NFL season was great. I mean, this is probably one of the best NFL seasons I remember in a very, very long time. But who is your MVP for this year?
I said it before, and I'll say it again, man. It's Joe Burrow. Look, what this guy did with this team was absolutely positively phenomenal. And what he meant to the Cincinnati Bengals is more than what any other player meant to their team this season. So I'm going with Joe Burrow.
So, Combs, I know here we like to think of MVP as the most valuable player, like truly the most valuable player. But basically what the NFL rates an MVP player is the best quarterback on the best team. That's basically what it comes down to in the end. And I can't give it to Joe Burrow this year because of everything that we said about the Cincinnati Bengals since like week 5. We don't know who they are. They're so up and down. They're so bipolar. One week he's throwing for 600 yards and the next week he's throwing for 600 receptions. Who is Joe Burrow? Obviously now during the playoffs he's taken leaps and bounds and, crazy good stuff. But this year's MVP has got to be Aaron Rodgers. No question about it. After that week 1 shellacking they cooked by the Saints, they won like 9 or 10 games in a row. Number 1 overall seed, they were 13-4. They were destroying the NFC. This is not a playoff MVP. This is a regular season MVP. And like
playoffs.
Yeah, right. But yeah, to me, Aaron Rodgers is the most valuable player in the league and for his team because. Excuse me. We saw what Jordan Love did for the Packers. Not very good.
Yeah.
So, let's stay on the offensive side of the ball. Who do you have as your best running back this year?
So this would be an easy choice if that's what we did, right? If we took the easy answers, It's 1,800 rushing yards. It's Jonathan Taylor. It's a clear option. There's nobody that's even close. But I've got to go with King Henry. I've never seen a team that is down in points in the fourth quarter, down by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and relies on their running back to get them back into the game. And that's what the Tennessee Titans did over and over and over again this season. To me, that signifies that he is the best running back because there is no other running back in the game that anybody would give the ball to get them back into a game. So I'm going all the way here with King Henry.
Yeah, King Henry is kind of the obvious choice, but he missed 8 games or something like that. Well, he still finished 3rd in rushing or something
like 6
to that
or
effect.
7.
Yeah, but he missed almost half of the season and still finished 3rd in rushing, right? Or 2nd in rushing or something like that. So that's a pretty good stat right here. But I gotta look at the Cleveland Browns and Nick Chubb. When the Cleveland Browns gave Nick Chubb the ball, they won a lot of football games. I believe every time Nick Chubb carried the ball over 15 times in a game, the Cleveland Browns were undefeated this season. Less than 15, they lost every game. So I think Nick Chubb was the best running back this season, and if the Browns would just listen to their fans, give him the ball, right?
I like Nick Chubb. That 2-headed monster that they have there in Cleveland is one of the best 2-headed monsters in all of the game. So I can't fault you there. But
I was thrown off by the "What's up, Rafter Man." I'm not for sure what that's supposed to mean. Sorry.
I think you just like the name Chubb.
Yeah, I do like chubbies, especially in my butthole.
Oh God, Jesus.
So, who is your coach of the year, Combs?
Not you.
Why?
Yeah, my coach of the year. God, you know how bad I want to give to Brian Flores.
Jesus, get out of here.
God, this is a tough one for me. I'm going with, and I hate doing this. And I know that the Bengals are playing for Super Bowl, so I know he's the obvious choice again, but I try not to go with the obvious choice. But I got to go with the choice I can explain. And I'm going Bill Belichick. what Bill Belichick did with that New England Patriots team was phenomenal to me. The fact that they were a playoff team is just the fact that they were a playoff team with what they had. I think this was his best coaching job to date. And the man has won 8 Super Bowls or 7 Super Bowls or something like that. The man, this was his best coaching job of his career. I'm going with Bill Belichick. So
just like you said, like in hindsight, Zach Taylor is a choice, right? But I had to revert back what I said about Joe Burrow. We've seen Cincinnati be bipolar all season. This is just the regular season. This is not postseason. This is regular season awards, and I cannot give it to Zach Taylor because of that. Because we did not know who the Bengals were going to be week in and week out. Matt LaFleur for the Packers, could possibly win it as well, but I'm going to go with Mike Vrabel for the Tennessee Titans. What he did when King Henry went down is kind of phenomenal. Like, let's just be honest, just because everybody thought the Titans were dead in the water, and they actually got better and when King Henry went down because of the coaching job of Mike Vrabel. He adjusted their offense and like, hey, we got to do this, this, and this, and hey, they grew from it. So I think he did better here. So Dr. Detroit asks, so without Sharon Rodgers, who sucks more, Bears or Green Bay?
The Lions.
All right, so Coach of the Year is out there. How about Rookie of the Year?
Well, how are you going to have a name like Dr. Detroit and try to come at 2 other organizations when you've won 3 games in 19 seasons? Like, I mean, you guys are the Detroit Lions are the worst run organization in maybe all of the damn game. I mean, you had a guy like Matt Stafford who couldn't sniff the damn playoffs, goes to the Rams, and all of a sudden he's playing in the Super Bowl and might win the damn thing.
We are rebuilding.
And then you take that same guy who Jared Goff, who was taking the same team to the playoffs in the Super Bowl, comes to your team and wins 3 games. Get out of here with that nonsense. It's the Lions.
So Dr. Troy says LOL. And Hoffy, what's up, Hoffy? He says, wow, Buck, with a smart take for the first time since I can remember. I have to agree with you on the Vrabel pick. Oh, that means it's wrong, right?
Buck doesn't have smart take. Now you're going to make him change his prediction.
Yeah. Give me Brian Flores. No. Rookie of the Year, Combs.
Rookie of the Year's got it. It's hands down. Look, I know we don't want to go with the easy choice here. It's Jamar Chase. There's no other rookie I can pick other than Jamar Chase. Yeah. I mean, what this kid did in Cincinnati was absolutely. He's doing it with a very accurate quarterback, a good quarterback. His quarterback he played with in college. They have a chemistry together, but what he did this year as a rookie, there's no other rookie out there that I would talk about. I would have loved to have picked a guy like Justin Fields here, but let's face it, it was terrible to watch this year.
Yeah, Andy Dalton Justin Fields.
Shut the. And there goes away. See, he had smart takes, Hoffy, until right then.
I want to say Diggs for the Cowboys because of the 12 interceptions that he got, or 11 interceptions.
It's like his second season in the league, though, isn't it?
Is it? I thought he was a rookie. I thought
him
and Parson. Okay, well, but I wanted to go with him with Defense Player of the Year for sure. But he gave up so many passing yards and touchdowns. It's absolutely ridiculous if you actually look at the stats. But I'm going with Micah Parsons. I think Micah Parsons is the best dual threat defensive player out there because he played some linebacker, he played middle linebacker, he played defensive end. Hell, he could probably play safety and still kill it, right? So Jamar Chase is probably going to win it, but close second is probably going to be Micah Parsons, to be flat out honest. How about the flop of the year?
Ooh, the flop of the year is going to the Baltimore freaking Ravens, baby. the Baltimore Ravens, who started the season 8-3, and then what did I say, Buck?
Not win one more game.
What did I say when they were 8-3?
Not going to win one more game.
Not going to win one more game, and what did they do, Buck?
I believe they did not win one more game.
They did not win one more damn game. And I called it. The absolute flop of the year with that team, and as good as they were, and I know they lost Lamar Jackson. I get it.
Jeez. They were better without Lamar Jackson.
They couldn't win one more game without Lamar Jackson. Maybe I changed my first pick. Maybe Lamar Jackson's the MVP.
How is he the MVP?
They were 8-3 and he went down. They couldn't win another game without him. He was the only one missing.
The Ravens were better without Lamar Jackson on the field as a team.
They lost every game.
They had harder slate of schedule, but that's Gardis. So you're going with the
anyway. Go ahead.
I'm going with the Carolina Panthers as a flop of the year. Because let's flash back to Week 5. They're what 5-0, 4-1. I think people were saying, "Oh, Sam Darnold's a guy." Super Bowl, baby. Hell, I think I sat right here on the Man Hour, you and me, and I was like, hey, the last time the Carolina Panthers started 4-2 on the season, they went to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl. I don't think they won one game after that. I'm just gonna. So flop of the year is the Carolina Panthers, in my opinion. Worst coach of the year, Combs.
Yeah, I mean, you were close. I mean, they started out 3-0, then lost 4 straight, and then 1-1, lost 1, 1-1, and then lost out.
Yeah, not good.
They were terrible.
They did look good the first 3 weeks, though, but they played, like the Jets and Dolphins, and I don't know.
Jets, Saints, and Texans.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a flop. I didn't expect them to be good, though, so I couldn't really count them as a flop. I felt like
I'm counting them as a flop because of the hype that they got when they started 3-0 or 3-1. People were predicting them to Super Bowl playoffs, etc. Then,
yeah,
right. I mean, we can also say also a runner-up could be the Cleveland Browns too, because people were talking Super Bowl for them, right? When they finished 7-9, not even making the playoffs. So yeah,
I gotcha.
How about this? Who was the worst coach of the year?
We're going to go with Matt Nagy.
Oh.
Look, the guy had Justin Fields, and he decided to sit him on the bench because he wanted Andy Dalton to play. That was a terrible idea. When he finally did get Justin Fields in the game, he didn't know how to game plan for Justin Fields. Instead, he took his rookie quarterback and wanted his rookie quarterback to adjust to the scheme instead of adjusting the scheme to his quarterback. Gave him zero chance to win and to succeed in this league, and all he did was give him reps. So, Matt Nagy, get the hell out of town, buddy. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely did get fired. I'm going to go with the team that finished 8-9 this season. Their coach actually got an extension mid-season, if I'm not mistaken. But that's going to be Mike Zimmer for the Minnesota Vikings. I think he was the worst coach of this year because they had many, many games when they simply just had to kick a field goal or a PAT to win the game, and they lost the game. The Arizona Cardinals game comes to mind. The Cleveland Browns game. How about the Dallas Cowboys? I mean, they were so many one-possession games away that it come down to poor coaching. And Mike Zimmer, they did fire the right guy, and he was the worst coach of the year, hands down. How about this, Combs? Who was the biggest surprise of the year? And don't say the Cincinnati Bengals.
But it's the Cincinnati Bengals.
It is the Cincinnati Bengals.
It's got to be the Cincinnati Bengals. But if I had to give you another one, I'm going to go back to my coach of the year, and I'm going to say the New England Patriots. I just did not see them being as good as they were. And to me, that was the biggest surprise. That was a shock to me. The other, I guess if you go the other way, the biggest surprise to me was how bad the Indianapolis Colts started out.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, of course, the injuries didn't help them at all. at like
Right.
one bit. But my biggest surprise is going to go out to the Arizona Cardinal fans. Because I was right about you guys as Arizona Cardinals all freaking year. I told you guys were sucky, and we're going to be a first round exit week after week after week. And you're like, oh, we're going Super Bowl, baby. We're like 9-0. We're going Super Bowl. No, but seriously, my biggest surprise of the year, besides the Cincinnati Bengals, is Tom Brady's retirement. I was not expecting Tom Brady to retire, to be honest.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And then also,
you know what the least surprising thing of the season was? That Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend couldn't shut the hell up.
Right. Hopefully they get a divorce. That'd be fantastic. Shoot. Well, what was the LVP again? Least
valuable.
Who was the least valuable player of the year this year?
Man. The least valuable player of the year. It's got to go to. God, there's so many. That's a bad one. I'm gonna go. God, I've got a couple of choices here. All right, fuck, I'm just doing it. Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence was the least valuable player of the year. The guy come on as the number one pick. People telling me, as I'm saying he's a bust, people are telling me, oh, he's a prototype. If he could build a quarterback in a lab, you would build Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you get those guys talking like that, and then this guy goes out and he looks like Ryan Leaf. And that's what I expected him to look like. And that's who he was. He was Ryan Leaf reincarnated. Trevor Lawrence, least valuable player.
All right, so this is going to piss off a lot of people here real quick. So
yeah, but that's what you do, so just go for it.
Let me collect my thoughts and tell you guys exactly who the least valuable player is this year. It comes from a team that was 12-5 this year, made the playoffs. I had them going to the Super Bowl, which was wrong. They lost to the 49ers in the first round of the playoffs. My least valuable player, Ezekiel Elliott. This guy's getting paid $100 million and only rushed for 1,000 yards this season. 4.2 yards a touch. Yes, that's not bad. 10 touchdowns? Come on, man. So basically, Zeke Elliott was getting $2 million a yard almost. Like that's kind of what it come like. What it comes down like. I mean, like, obviously the $100 million is over the last 4 years. Like, I get it. But I'm blown out of proportion. But Zeke Elliott was the least valuable player for the Dallas Cowboys this year. Tony Pollard was better better running back than Zeke was this year.
Don't you think that the game plan, for one, Mike McCarthy doesn't run the ball.
Right,
he doesn't run
yeah.
the ball. But don't you think that the way that they used Zeke kind of contributed to I mean, you said it yourself. I mean, when he did touch the ball, he averaged 4.2 yards a game, and he put the ball in the end zone 10 times. I almost feel like it was, you know, that's tough for him to be the least valuable player because the scheme didn't allow him to succeed.
Well, so as a $100 million player, you are the face of the franchise. Dak Prescott is coming off a brutal injury, right? The team was on your shoulders. You and Dak should have went into his office like, hey, look, man, give me the fucking ball. Like, you know, I mean, you are a grown-ass man. You know how to win games. Give me the ball. Let me eat, right? Like, give me the spoon. Let me eat first down. But, yeah, I mean, when I'm paying you like $40 million a year, whatever it is, and you only get 1,000 yards on 237 attempts, that's not very valuable in my eyes. When Tony Pollard got as many yards as like he did for a quarter of the price.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I see Drew in the chat. He says, I'm back. What did I miss? Just a whole lot of Buck nonsense. Buck just spitting stupid stuff out of his mouth, and that's where we go. I see Hoffy in the chat says, Chargers coach costs his team a lot of games.
Who is the Chargers coach now, by the way? I can't remember. Because it's not Anthony Lynn.
I'll give you a guess. He's a white guy.
Oh, had no idea. Oh man,
I can't remember his name either.
So his name is Brandon Staley, and he does identify as a multiracial guy. So
stupid.
So we have a couple more minutes here before hour number 2 starts here on the Man Hour Combs. We have a great interview lined up for you guys. Pick your Super Bowl winner and the score.
All right, Super Bowl winner and the score. I've been leaning Cincinnati the entire time, right?
Yeah.
And the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think that the Rams defense and what they could possibly do to the Chargers offensive line. But I've doubted the Cincinnati Bengals the entire playoffs, with the exception of the first week. I did have them beating the Raiders, and then I've doubted them all the way through.
Right.
I picked them to beat the Chiefs. I'm picking them again. I'm going Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm going Cincinnati Bengals. Are you ready, Buck?
I'm ready.
Cincinnati Bengals 37. Los Angeles Rams 24.
Wow, that's a really high-scoring game in a Super Bowl, I think, when you have in 2 weeks to prepare and like all that stuff. The last time the Rams made it to the Super Bowl, they scored 3 points. Granted, it was against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. They ultimately lost that game 13-3. That was the lowest outpoint ever in Sean McVay's history as a head coach. So I think he is going to get redemption in this game. I'm not going as high a score as you are, but I'm going to go 21-17, LA Rams. The Bengals come back in the second half, but they just don't have that quite enough oomph that they've been playing from behind all playoffs, and they're just wore out like at this point. And the injury to their tight end, CJ Uzma, right? It's CJ, right? Yeah, CJ Uzma is going to be a lot bigger factor than we realized on the surface here. When you lose that middle threat just like that, it gives you more coverage on Boyd and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. So the Rams are going to win this one, I think.
And that kind of goes into what I've come to. This is my real prediction about the Super Bowl, right? Is that the Rams can't blow out the Bengals, but the Bengals could blow out the Rams.
Right.
And the Rams tend to jump out to a decent lead and then take their foot off the pedal and allow the other team to sneak back into it. You can't do that against a Cincinnati Bengals team led by Joe Burrow, because they will find a way to beat you. And I just feel like I said earlier, I think that the Rams are going to be stubborn enough to allow Jalen Ramsey to try to cover Jamar Chase one-on-one, and I think that that's what's going to end up costing them the Super Bowl. I think that Jamar Chase is going to do some things in the first half. They're going to adjust. They're going to double team him. And then all of a sudden, they're going to start using the other weapons that they have. You're going to see a lot of Joe Mixon. You're going to see a lot of Uzma if he's healthy enough to actually catch the ball and run routes. And you're going to get that. So that's why I went with the score that I did. But the score that you have there, it wouldn't shock me. But it would shock me if the Bengals can't complete a comeback.
Yeah, I mean, it just sometimes people are wore out.
Yeah,
I am going to kind of waffle around this a little bit, though. I am still picking the Rams to win, but I think whoever scores first in this game, it will be the ultimate winner of this game. So if the Bengals score first, they'll probably win the game. If the Rams score first, the Rams will probably win.
If you had to make a bet, let's help the people out now. If they had to go on to whatever betting website they had, and they had to pick a player to score the first touchdown of the game, who's your pick?
Cam Akers.
Yeah, you know what? God, I was going Cam Akers too. That's scary.
Yeah.
Yes, because I think that Cam Akers is the dark horse in all of this, right?
Well, think about this. Cam Akers hasn't played all CACA long. This is his third game of the year. He just now knocked off the rust. Like let's just be honest about it. He just now knocked off his rust. He is poised to have a huge game.
This is basically his season opener right now. He just got through the preseason. Now he's in his season opener, and I mean, look, I was going Cam Akers. I can't believe that.
Yeah,
I really thought you were gonna go somewhere else.
Who is your MVP for the Bengals?
My MVP for the Bengals is going to be Jamar Chase.
And when the Rams win, I'm going to have to go with Matthew Stafford. I think it's a storybook ending to everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
All right. So
Absolutely.
Combs, hour number 2, we have a great interview coming up. Tell the people who we have coming up on hour number 2.
Yeah, so this is going to be a great interview. Hoffy, if you're still watching, man, you're really going to enjoy this one. Drew, Alpha Rob, I know you guys will like it too. This is Major League Baseball player, retired Major League Baseball player, Andrew Romine. Played for the Tigers, played for the Rangers, played for the Angels, played for the Cubs last season with his brother Austin. Really down-to-earth guy. Hit him up on Facebook. He was all about coming on. And instead, I talked to him about, hey, is there anything you don't want to cover? And what he said was, I just don't want the lame questions. Let's talk baseball. And I got to talk baseball with him I talked with him for about an hour and a half. You guys are going to see 45 minutes of it. And it was really good stuff. Let me know what you guys think after the interview as well. Let me know what you guys thought. Hit me up on Facebook or on Twitter. And let me know what you guys thought about the interview as well.
All right, guys. So Andrew Romine coming up here, guys, right after this break on the Man Hour. We'll be right back.
Hey, gang, it's Commissioner.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have big doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 Anything negative, cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my fucking mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
All right, Man Hour Nation, we are back, and as promised, we now have an interview lined up with former Major League Baseball player Andrew Romine, formerly played with the Angels, the Detroit Tigers, the Seattle Mariners, the Texas Rangers, and of course, my beloved Chicago Cubs. So let me go ahead and just welcome him onto the show. Andrew, what's going on, buddy?
Not much, Brandon. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, hey, not a problem. It's I've seen you on Facebook, and it's funny because we get a lot of players that I'll friend request them and we'll get them, and I never really know if it's actually the player that is on the other side of like the Facebook or the Twitter or whatever the case is. And then I saw you start, after you announced your retirement, I saw you start to post some, thank yous to the fans, and then I saw some pictures of your family and stuff that you were posting. I was like, well, maybe it's him, right? So
or somebody very close taking close pictures of me.
Yeah, exactly. So I shot you a message, and I was just like, hey, why not shoot your shot? And you were gracious enough to respond, and I appreciate you for that.
Absolutely, man. This was so throughout my career, I never really had much of an existence on social media, and my wife and I really kind of focused on enjoying the moment, playing baseball, traveling around, and just really being in the moment of that life. And then I got done, and I mean, my connection with the fans while I was playing, I go to the field and I meet the kids, I go to functions outside, and it was great. And a lot of the cities we went to, whether it be Chicago, Detroit, LA, we had a really close connection with the city. I just never really got that internet social media thing going. So now I felt like this is really a way for me to keep in touch when I'm not playing anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I mean, here at the Man Hour, our big thing is like we're live, raw, and uncut, right? And we always, we enjoy talking to athletes who have been in the sport and who have entered it, and we talk about everything. And we don't really shy away from the tough conversations, the tough questions. As you learned, prior to the show, we were having a little conversation there. We started talking about some things, and you were like, "Oh, you got to get this stuff on camera, right?" So that's kind of the gist of what we do here. But first off, how's retirement treating you? Have you gotten that itch to get back to the ball field yet?
Well, retirement lasted about a month for me, and then I went back to work. So I had
Okay.
gotten my mortgage lending license when I was still playing,
Okay.
and I had always been fascinated with that career path. And I figured as soon as I was done, at some point I was going to move into that, and that lasted 4 weeks. So I ended up jumping in back in October and getting all kinds of fun phone calls and social media work going and things that I never had to do before when I was playing baseball. And now I'm handing out mortgage loans, refinancing people. And then on the weekends, I got lessons and baseball camps and baseball teams. And like I told you before, if I had just quit baseball and walked away, I would have gone crazy without any baseball. So I'm
Yeah.
still keeping in touch, following what little is happening right now with the MLB, obviously. So
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Life without baseball, to me, I don't know how I would do it. I'm a baseball guy through and through, so I can definitely relate to where you're at with that. Speaking of how little baseball is, we heard today actually from Rob Manfred, and I don't know about you, but I get very little excitement from hearing Rob Manfred talk about baseball. I don't know what it is. He doesn't seem to get a lot of support from players either, but he seems pretty optimistic that they're going to have a deal done and we're not going to miss any baseball games. But I'm not optimistic that he's optimistic, though. Does that make sense to you?
well, of course not, because I mean it's a business, so he's going to have to keep the people engaged and make sure that they are excited about what's coming up. Now, is his job easy? By no means is that job easy.
Yeah.
You're mediating between two entities that want nothing to do with you and want to just talk to the other side and get this thing figured out so we can play baseball games. But it's that gray area where he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. One side's going to be happy and one's not, no matter how you look at this. So I don't know. It's tough to look and say you're gonna actually like somebody in his position, because really it's almost like the umpire kind of deal. If you don't know they're there, then they did a great job, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But if you have to see him talk, then that means things aren't going right. And then all you know is that's the face that you see when things aren't going right.
And we've got a few of those umpires in Major League Baseball, don't we?
I loved all umpires. I don't know what you're talking about.
You did not. It's funny. We've had the conversation on this show, and I said the same thing. If you know an umpire's name, it's probably because he's not doing a very good job. And there's a few out there that we could name, but I'll spare you that, Joe West. But
hey, Joe West, man, that guy, he umpired my dad. And
really?
He's been around longer than any of them. So
Yeah.
I had a great relationship with Joe. My brother got to talk to him quite a bit because my brother was a catcher. So I had no problem with him other than a call that he made in one of my first at bats as a rookie, and a ball basically bounced that he called a strike. And I'm not allowed to say anything. I'm looking back and I'm not allowed to say anything because I've been in the big leagues for all of 24 hours. So
Yeah.
Other than that, Joe West is fine by me.
I say Joe West, but there's all sorts of them. Angel Hernandez. I watch some of these guys strike zones, and I'm just like, oh my word! Like
You know what's interesting about that is, first of all, you got to remember they're the best at what they do in the world, right? So, and we go look at those numbers and we look at the charts which I think these charts are freaking hilarious, man. To see these guys on social media post, this is his chart and this is the numbers and these are how many he missed. I think that's awesome. That's awesome, because now we have actual solidified evidence of how much people kept track of. And then you go back and you look and you're going, how can they miss this many? What's wrong with them? Well, imagine if you didn't have somebody who has been doing it for 20 years. Imagine if it was just some random guy from another level. He'd be missing like 40% of the calls as opposed to 93 or 95. And we're going, how do you miss 5%? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. So when it comes to the game, I'm kind of a purist, but I also look at the game because I really do. I think that the beauty of baseball is just in its purest form. Like I love everything about the game. I love the nuances. I love the chess match. But two things that I've always been a big fan of changing is, one, the universal DH. I think that absolutely needs to happen in Major League Baseball. And they announced today that they were in favor of it finally coming to the National League. And the other thing is, I've been pining for it for probably about 10 years now, is the automated strike zone. How do players, would players invite an automated strike zone?
I think right now, from what I've heard, it's like 50-50.
Okay.
Pitchers will start saying that they're going to like it because they're going to catch more of the bottom and the top of the zone, and it's going to shrink, or it's going to open the zone for the pitchers a little bit. But then they won't be getting the corners anymore, because I think that's where a lot of obviously umpires have to set up on one side and they're a little bit further away from the other one. They might get that corner. But I think the problem is going to lie in, we're going to see breaking balls down at people's shins that are crossing that plane. And then you're going to have guys move up in the box to get to that. And then once they move up, you're going to see pitches crossing the zone up at people's chest, So it's really a double-edged sword, but hitters are going to say they want it because they want to know that it's consistent, right?
Right.
And then pitchers are going to say they want it because they're going to be able to get that up and down now.
So. Yeah. The one thing that I always thought that an umpire that has that zone where, I mean, let's just face it, he's the most notoriable one and I almost have an aneurysm every time I watch him umpire a game behind the plate, and it's Angel Hernandez. Like I just, if I am at a game and Angel Hernandez is behind the plate, I almost feel like leaving because I don't think that anything's going to come of it. But when I watch a guy like that call the zone that he has, and I get it. I mean, look, you're a human being. You're not perfect. You're gonna miss some calls, but that just alters the game. Like it all of a sudden it changes your approach at the plate, does it not? Because now you don't know what's a strike and what's a ball because you don't know what he's going to call. So now you're almost forced to swing at everything. And I feel like that's in favor of the pitcher when you have an umpire like that behind the plate.
For sure. And they know that. Those pitchers know that. I mean, but both sides get it. So is it really a benefit to any team one way or the other? I don't think it's benefiting any team one way or the other. I think it's just really hindering the hitters in the long run. When an umpire is having a bad day and their zone is huge, it's tough. You start having, and guys come back and we have video. I mean, we're not supposed to have video during the game, but we know, know when the pitch was on and when it was off. There's no secret. So coming back into the dugout when a guy's going, that pitch is 3 inches off the plate, and there's no way you can swing at it. Your brain won't even let you swing at it.
Yeah. So basically what Andrew Romine is saying for the listeners out there is that it's okay that Angel Hernandez is shitty because he's consistently shitty.
I mean, basically, if it's equal for both sides, then you know what? Shut up and play baseball, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with you though, because I've said that all the time. And look, I ref hockey. I ref for USA Hockey. I've refed at the high school level and I've refed at the junior college level. So I know that, hey, we always call the fans the idiots in the stands. And the idiots in the stands always know way more than you know, right? And so it's one of those things. And I understand sometimes you see things one way and somebody else sees it another thing. So I get it. As long as you're consistent, that's what matters.
All right, I have a solution to this, and I've thrown this out there multiple times over the years. All we have to do is send down the worst umpires at the end of the year and bring up the best ones in AAA.
I don't mind that relegation system. I've also thrown out the idea of maybe a sliding scale system, right? So a sliding scale pay system. So if you get 85% of your calls correct, you get all your pay. If you get, 70 to 85% of your calls correct, you only get 75 to 80% of your pay. All of a sudden, you're going to see things tighten up, aren't you?
Yeah, you're good luck taking people's pay away.
Exactly.
The umpires have a pretty good union too, from what I hear. So I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I don't know. I just tell people to keep in mind, he's not doing it on purpose. Whoever the umpire is, whether it be Angel or anybody else, he's not doing it on purpose. He doesn't hate people. He's actually one of the nicest guys that I've ever met in my life. And I'm not just saying that because I want people to like him. I'm saying it because it's true. So when he goes out there and he does his job, he's doing the best he can. And can you really be mad at somebody for doing the best they can, but they're still there? I mean, if you're going to get mad at somebody, get mad at the people who are hiring people.
That is a very fair statement. I am mad at those people too. Look, as a fan, I don't like when I see it, especially when it hurts my team during a game. I don't like to see it, but I do understand where they're coming from with the human side of things. So let me ask you this: the next question I'm gonna come at you with, do you want a softball or you want to keep going with some fiery stuff?
Bring whatever you got, man. I'm not here to tell you what my favorite stadium is. And I was actually just saying the other day, throughout your career, you get so many of the who's your favorite teammate and what's your favorite stadium.
All right, so I'll just cross off half my questions then. No, I'm just joking.
I can do those too, but we're not on here to do surface level, right?
That's right. Hey, Man Hour, live, raw, and uncut. I mean, that's our thing. So one big topic that we have, and I go at it back and forth, and we were talking about this before the show, and it's the steroid era. And I believe Barry Bonds is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. To me, I've never seen a better player step on the field. Is Barry Bonds, in your opinion, should Barry Bonds be in a Hall of Fame?
No, I don't think so. You knowingly took something that you weren't allowed to. So if they can prove that you took something, now keep in mind the key word there is if they can prove that you took something, then no. But if he can prove that he didn't, then absolutely. But as soon as anybody has proven that they have taken something illegal, I mean, for God's sake, Pete Rose is kicked out because he bet on his own team to win. Like this is
but isn't that a different situation though? I mean, the gambling in baseball, and I've often said this, and I've told this story on the show before, is that I actually went to a baseball dinner in Massachusetts where Johnny Bench was at. And I asked Johnny Bench the same question. And Johnny Bench said he broke the one rule that is in every clubhouse, and that's don't bet on the game. So he said he didn't feel bad for Pete at all.
You know what? Okay. Well, the steroid rule is on the wall in every place now too.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't back when the steroid era was really going on. Didn't baseball make billions of dollars off of it?
So you're telling me, they made money because people like watching home runs. But so you're telling me that he didn't know what he was doing? You're telling so are you also okay with the all the Astros not getting in trouble?
No, I am not, and I'm also not okay with look, I don't think Barry Bonds is a great person, but I think on the field, I think he is a Hall of Fame baseball player because you look at the numbers, and obviously let's take the power numbers out of it, right? You take away all 732 of his home runs, and he still has over 3,000 hits.
Absolutely.
You take away all 732 of his home runs, he still has a better slugging percentage and OBP than David Ortiz, who just got elected first ballot, who also, by the way, has a positive test.
Yeah, but how long of a career is he going to have if he wasn't taking steroids for the last however long?
It would have been a lot. It would have been a lot shorter. And
so
and I'm of the.
So he doesn't have 3,000 hits.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you that. I'll give you that for sure. I just, the guy was a perennial Gold Glove winner. Like when he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, he was smaller than I was when he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was a guy who was known as a feared hitter. I mean, he was still hitting 30 to 40 home runs, and back then, I mean, that was huge. Look, I grew up watching Ryne Sandberg. Ryne Sandberg's my favorite player of all time. My 6-year-old son now is named Ryan after Ryne Sandberg, and I loved watching guys like that play the game, and 30 home runs was a big deal.
I agree.
So
if you want to base it off of his early career,
yeah,
I thought he would have done enough to get in without doing anything.
I agree.
So I mean, yeah, he's numbers wise, I agree, but it's just like you said, you break that rule, just like you break that gambling rule. I mean, Pete Rose, that gambling has nothing to do with his statistics, right?
Yeah.
So why is he out? Because he broke a rule.
Right.
The rules are there. You know these rules. But
they weren't rules back then, though. They didn't have the rules. Well, they had technically the rule, but there was no testing in place. And
this is a moral compass that you have to have as an athlete when you're standing in a room with the other athletes and you do those things,
Yeah, and then, that's another one of my arguments, too, is that, for one, baseball knew these guys were. You can't tell me that the people in the game were not smart enough to know that these guys were doing it and then using them, and they're the ones paying the price now while everybody else is making the billions of dollars. The owners are making the billions of dollars, and they know that this stuff is going on. So then you're going to keep them out, and you draw the moral compass line there. But we let guys like Ty Cobb, who was a known, a horrible human being, into the Hall of Fame. But we draw the moral compass because these guys decided that they wanted to use steroids.
Well, don't we have to draw a line somewhere eventually? Before we let child molesters and murderers into the Hall of Fame, you're just going to let everybody in?
Yeah, I get it. I get the argument. I do, and I have this and I love this conversation because I will argue it to the death that the baseball writers, and that's the other thing where the baseball writers lost me, was they're picking and choosing who from the steroid era to allow in, and they're allowing guys who have positive tests in. And you look at a guy like Barry Bonds, and obviously we all believe he used steroids, but he never had a positive test.
I agree. That's where the gray area comes in. But,
right.
And I also, it's something on the Hall of Fame, how somebody gets voted in thing. I think it's a bit crazy that writers are the ones who have the biggest say in it. When it really should be current, former players, coaches, people who your peers, right?
Mm-hmm.
People who are the Hall of Fame, that kind of thing. Now, I get that they have that chance afterwards, which is great for them to be able to reconcile things that should have happened. But I don't know. I mean, it's a great topic, but I always go back to when you talk about Pete Rose breaking a rule. He broke a rule that had absolutely nothing to do with performance enhancing ability. Like he was just gambling some of his money on the side, and he still went out, played a game fair and hard, versus a guy who broke a rule that was, hey, I'm going to make myself better than you and everybody else around me. And then you're now taking the game into your own hands and enhancing yourself and your team.
Right.
So that's where I have a problem.
Yeah, and I get that, and I think where Barry Bonds' argument comes from is the no positive test, and it's you can go back and you can say, well, look, Barry Bonds tested positive for steroids as many times as Pete Rose did. How did we know that Pete Rose wasn't using them too? How do we know that a guy like Cal Ripken, who played all those games in a row, and how do we know he wasn't taking something for the everyday aches and pains to get you through the minor stuff of going through a Major League Baseball season, which is a grueling feat in itself? That's the stuff where you start talking about that, because Barry Bonds tested positive just as many times as those guys did.
I get you on that.
So,
hey, at this point, it's either all or nothing, right? Like you either let everybody in or you draw a line and you say nobody. But I think the MLB is trying to reconcile this. They turned a blind eye back in the day because it was bringing money in. I mean, who the hell didn't want to watch McGwire and Sosa go head to head? Like that was the most exciting season that I can even remember. I mean, I was pretty young, but that was the most exciting season ever.
Yeah, and the two craziest Barry Bonds stats to me are the one where he had, I think it was 2003, he had more times on base than he had at bats because of all the walks.
Yeah, he had like 200 and something walks in one season.
Yeah, he has the other crazy stat is 688 career intentional walks. The Tampa Bay Rays as an organization have 650.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So to me, those stats, I love, talking about the craziness of what that was. And I just find it hard to believe that we're going to keep an entire era out of the Hall of Fame, when the Hall of Fame, let's face it, it's a museum that's about the game. And it means something to be in the Hall. It's supposed to mean something to be in the Hall of Fame. But until Pete Rose and Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and all those guys are there, I don't think it means anything, because you're taking away an entire era of baseball that, let's be completely honest, brought baseball back from obscurity because of what they did to the game in 1994. I
agree.
So
absolutely.
I feel like if you go to a museum, you're there for the history. You're not here to decide, what part of the history you want to talk about, right?
Yeah, well, then why don't you go build a history museum?
I would look if I would love to, but look, I'm just a poor carpenter from Chicago who really can't build that much of anything. I could build it, but I couldn't afford to keep it open. But that's just I love that conversation. I love that talk. I get both sides of the argument. I really, really do. The baseball side of things, we get in right now, we just talked about 1994, and now we've got this lockout now. What are your thoughts about this? Are we, if you want to give inside information, I'm all about it, but I'm not asking for that. What I'm saying is, do you feel like we are going to end up missing games? Do you think that this is where this is ahead, or do you feel like these two sides will figure this out?
They'll figure it out. Now, whether or not there's games missed, I don't know. I'm not following the emails. I'm not in on the Players Association email list that's going on. I removed myself so that when you ask me questions, I have no insight into this.
That's not fair.
Just knowing it and not being able to talk about it kind of sucks. But
right.
I mean, in 2020 when we were doing it, I was watching my emails. I was watching all the stuff that came across just to see what was happening and make sure, because I was getting ready to play. Right now, I'm not doing that. I'm enjoying my days and not worrying about whether I'm going to play baseball this year.
You're just a mortgage broker in Arizona, right?
I mean, I'm just a lender out here in Arizona, licensed all over the country in case anybody needs to get a home loan or a refi. No, but I mean, I follow as much as you probably do with social media and the news and things like that. But as far as like insider information, I couldn't even tell you more than you probably know more than I do. But my beliefs, they're going to get playing. And I think it'll ramp up here pretty quick because, I mean, what does it really take? They come to an agreement. They sit around for 20 hours straight and bang it out. And then they give everybody, 3 days to show up, or 4 days, I think it is.
Yeah.
So it can happen quick. you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a huge free agent surge. I mean, there's still free agents out there that have not. I
Yep.
mean, you still got, I believe, Carlos Correa. I hope he stays in Houston and rots with the rest of them. But you still got like guys like Carlos Correa out there. And unless he signs with the Cubs, then he's great again, right? Because
Right.
you gotta love your own
He's the best
players.
player ever.
Yeah, that's how that works. That's how it works as a fan, right? Like,
I wouldn't expect any different from a Chicago fan. You guys got to stay loyal to your team.
we do, and it's been an up and down battle, and I know you'll get a kick out of it. So 2016, right? Greatest year of my life. Watching the Cubs win the World Series finally. And my son at the time is 12 years old. And he's watching. I woke him up to come watch the final out with me. And he says, "Oh my God, they did it. I waited my whole life for this." And I'm like, are you kidding me right now, kid?
Hey, that's percentages, right? Percentages.
Yeah. So I know, we talked about what's the greatest, the stadium. I want to know what fan base to you out there. You've played in all the. How many stadiums did you not play in? Is there a stadium you didn't touch?
Philly Stadium was the only place I didn't play.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we all know about Philly fans, so you don't have to worry about that.
And that's a tough one to miss because I hear that they're some of the rowdiest fans in baseball, which I mean, come on, I played in Detroit as a utility guy. So when I came into the game, everybody's going, who the hell is this? Get him the hell out of here. We want to see Miggy. We want to see Castellanos. I was not, I mean, don't get me wrong. The fans were amazing. They loved me. I had a great time there. But when I came into the game, they weren't thrilled that Andrew Romine was in the game. That means it's a freaking blowout or something crazy's happening. So,
and that was kind of your experience in Chicago too, I'm assuming, because you really got a bulk of your playing time last year after they made the trade of the big three, right? Like, so after Tony went, and then after Chris Bryant went, and then after Javi left, we had all of a sudden Andrew Romine and Austin Romine were watching the brothers play all this time, and you guys were it was funny because the team that the Cubs put on the field after they made those trades, I felt was better after they made the trades. Like, it was crazy to me because I felt like the team afterwards, I felt like I was watching better baseball. And I love Anthony Rizzo. I love Chris Bryant. I love Javi. I appreciate everything that they brought to the Cubs, the World Series and everything. But watching you and watching your brother play, I'm not just saying this because we're having this conversation now. And I was at the game where you guys went back to back, by the way. The game where So I enjoyed watching you guys play because I just felt like it was a better product, almost because for you, was it like a sense of, hey, you know what? Let's just go out here and have fun. I know that the fans are upset that these trades happen and they're missing these guys. What the hell? Let's just go have fun.
Well, there's one thing that I think, obviously there's two aspects to this. One, our people are gone, and as a player, this when you walk into the stadium and you step foot on the field, that the fans miss Rizzo and Bryant and Baez. This is easy. But I think that the other side of it is once the fans start to kind of calm down and realize this is the next generation, when you got guys like Frank the Tank coming in and you got Patrick at third, watching these young kids, even like Dykeman coming in the outfield just for a cup of coffee right there. These guys are the kids of the future. And they're, no matter what you do, unless you do what Frank did, where you come in and you're just the greatest baseball player ever, and like Pat did, you hit 20 home runs in a month or something. So
that was insane, wasn't it?
It was crazy. And I had seen him in Iowa. We played together for a bit. And I was like, this guy is something special. Like, he just needs to get an opportunity. And he goes up and then just goes off. So I think that the future is bright as long as they keep these guys around. But the whole reaction to trading your team away, as people say, it gets you down. It gets you discouraged as a fan, and then it gets you pissed off. So I think once people settle down and they realize, oh, crap, look at these guys. Like, these young guys are really good, and they're going to cost them about a 20th of the price right now. So So what does that do? That leaves more money open for them to go buy pitching or something, or go buy, a 4-hole guy or whatever they need. So
Right.
I think that there's an upside that once the initial emotion wears off, you'll start to see it more in Chicago. But it was fun for me because I knew going into when I got called up. So Jed had no reason to call me up. There was no, hey, we need this, we need that. They decided to bring 3 or 4 young guys up, young prospects, see what they had, and then they gifted me the opportunity to get called up one more time. And in my head, I'm standing out in the field going, I know this is it. Like me and my wife are the only 2 people in the world right now who know this is it. Like I'm done after this. I'm not playing next year. And I've already had that set in my head, which a lot of people don't get that opportunity to go into a baseball game in the big leagues and go, I'm just going to take this in. I'm going to enjoy every single second of this. And then to top it off, they bring my brother up and I get to freaking pitch to my brother. So for me, it was a movie, man. My brother wasn't even supposed to be up at that time. He was still rehabbing, and Contreras had got hurt. So they had called my brother up a couple days early, and I don't even know if he had his cleats on that day because he was not supposed to play. And we're getting crushed by the Brewers, and Rossi's going, hey, you're going to throw the last inning, don't hurt yourself, like that kind of thing. So I go out there and I look over and my brother's jogging out, and he comes up to me going, all right, what do you got? That kind of thing. And I'm like, all right, one's a fastball. And he's like, yeah, whatever. All right, just throw the ball. And so, hey man, I got 8 appearances in the big leagues or something like that. So I'm a pitcher, dude.
That's awesome.
He gets behind the plate and I throw my first pitch to him as a knuckleball. And he just looks at me and I'm going, hey, you didn't listen to the rest of my pitches. So that's your fault.
That is great. I remember, watching Wilson Contreras come up through the system, and I watched him in the minor leagues, and I'm watching this kid play, and I'm like, wow, this guy's going to be something special. Comes up to the Cubs and launches a home run in his first at bat with the Cubs, and the rest is history, right? And I watched him throw a ball to you as a runner stealing second, and I kind of saw this look in your eye. Does he have the best arm of a catcher that you've ever played with? Because it almost looked like you weren't expecting it to come in as hot as it did, almost.
I mean, his arm's amazing. His arm's amazing. I don't know if I'd say the best. It didn't cross my mind that he was the best. Now, I know you're going to ask who, but I don't. I've had a lot of different throws down to second. Nobody really stands out like they were above and beyond everybody else because I didn't get to see enough of him. I wasn't there long enough to see enough. And when you really see somebody for an extended period of time, that's when they become something great in my mind. Right. Did he have a cannon? Yeah, for sure. I mean, the ball was on a line when it was coming to you, but no, there's everybody up there's got a pretty good arm, and if you don't, then my assumption is you're hitting some bombs.
Yeah. Did playing with your brother your final season, was that like, how special was that for you?
So the way that went down was I went to the Twins for spring training, and we got to like 3 or 4 days left in the end, and they're unsure what they were going to do with me. I had an out, so I ended up taking the out, and we called the Cubs right away because we had a relationship with Jed, and my agent had talked to them and said, hey, let's come over here. We'll send you over to the alternate site, see where it goes from there, like that type of thing. And I'm going, why not? Like, what am I going to do? Go to another team's alternate site or whatever? At least gives me an opportunity that I might get a chance to play with my brother. So when it finally happened, I was hoping, and the season was kind of winding down and everything, and I was hoping that I'd get a chance. And when it finally happened, it was weird because we always hoped that we would get to play on the team together. But as you go, I played 15 seasons of professional baseball, and then I'm knowing that I'm retiring, and I'm not expecting it to happen. So I was very, very lucky for it to happen. And it kind of felt like a movie almost, just playing backyard baseball. And then when I got to pitch to him, it was like topping it all off. Like, I'm throwing knuckleballs in Wrigley Stadium right now, and my brother's catching. So this is a fairy tale. Like, this is weird.
Yeah, that's it was something special. I was there for that game. It was I'm out to Wrigley as much as possible. I actually go to see a bunch of White Sox games too, just because again I'm a baseball guy. I'll watch games noon to midnight every single day. That's just I love the game. But I've seen I watched you guys play, and it was an absolute pleasure to watch you play, to watch the spark that you guys all had after that trade went down. Because you're right. I mean, look, as fans in the stands are mad. I understand the business part of the game. I was expecting the trades to happen. I wasn't as disappointed because I was expecting them. My wife was definitely disappointed because she, Javi Baez was gone and she could no longer look at him while he was on the field. But other than that, like, I was expecting it to happen. And so I was enjoying watching you guys all, that entire team. After that, I mean, you guys made some runs, and there were times where you guys would, there's a few times where you guys were up 7, and then all of a sudden we'd be tied or losing the game. But there was also a bunch of times where you guys just, it looked like you were down and out, but I couldn't turn off the game because I knew you guys had it in you to come back. And
Absolutely.
Was that a fun experience for you? Like, what was the most fun experience for you while you were in the major leagues? Was that one of them?
So it was interesting because that group was unlike any other team that I had played on. So, I mean, I played on playoff contending teams quite a bit when I was with the Angels, then Detroit, and even in Seattle. That the 1 year I was in Seattle, we had an amazing team. So when I saw the end of the year kind of coming into play in August, September, and they're calling up young guys, and at that point, I mean, you only had a couple of older guys out there between Hayward and Wright. And I mean, if my brother was catching, I guess he would be an older guy that's been around. But you got Hap, and you got Bodie, and then Pee Weezy and Frank. And I mean, it was pretty cool to see the young guys come up and see them fighting, because they know that they're fighting for positions next year. They're not up there going, we're out of it. We don't care. These games don't mean anything. It was, and it's easy to do that. I've seen that happen on some older teams where they know, they're going to get paid. Their contracts are still going, we're out of it. Who cares? I just don't want to get hurt type of stuff.
Right.
But this was not that. These guys were playing hard, and it was very fun from my perspective to be a part of that and just kind of go around the locker room and talk to guys and see kind of where their heads were at. And it was intense like this. And Ross never let it calm down. I mean, it's Chicago, man. Like, this is not just because we're out of it, we're going to throw in the towel and nobody cares about these games. People are still showing up to the games. They still care. And like I said, they're watching the next generation right now. They're going to see what these guys turned into, and they're going to look back to 2021 and go, hey, remember when he first got there and he did this, and now he's got, 5 years, 6 years under his belt, and he's got 30 home runs every season or something crazy. So
yeah,
I think we're seeing the beginning of something special.
That's awesome. I mean, it's good to hear. It's good to hear as a Cubs fan. What, other than that, what was the coolest thing you were ever a part of in the major leagues?
So excluding all the Chicago stuff, because I'd like to point out that I did hit a home run off a Hall of Famer. So that's, you passed over it like it didn't happen. I just want to point that out.
I was gonna get there at some point, because I was gonna let you know that you and your brother both had one home run as Cubs, but yours was off of a Hall of Famer.
That's right.
I was gonna get there, but you kind of stole my thunder there.
I don't. You said most exciting. That was freaking exciting, and I've never been the type of guy to be overly excited about stuff and show it outwardly. So I don't know. I guess it was that whole, like, I know that this is kind of the last hurrah for me. So I just really couldn't hold it in. And hitting that was really cool. The reaction from the rest of the guys was awesome, and the dugout and everything. But my brother debuted against me. That was pretty interesting. So his first game with the Yankees, I was with the Angels, and we were in Anaheim. Our parents were there because they lived in Anaheim. So I got to be there when he debuted. I hit a grand slam. That was pretty cool. Grand slams are fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. What is it? What is it like when the pop of the crowd on a home run? Like that home run you hit at Wrigley, you guys were wearing I can remember like it was yesterday. You guys were wearing the City Connect jerseys.
Yeah.
And it was a 3-run game tying home run.
Yeah. And it was a crosstown rivalry, and I'd also like to point out that the White Sox had released me in the 2020 spring training, so that's what they get.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, all right, I'm not striking out right here. Like something's happening, and I'm gonna make these guys up in the booth right now because I know they're up there. I'm gonna make them regret letting me go. So that kind of put a little stamp on it. I like that.
And it was off of Kimbrel, who we had just traded away, and he was like, "Oh, I want to go to a team and try to chase a ring." And here comes Andrew Romine, says, "Chase your ring now."
Hey, sometimes us older guys get a little underestimated,
Absolutely. So, what was the fun? I know. Look, funny things happen in clubhouses. I've been inside of clubhouses. I've been inside of locker rooms. I've seen, I've been actually around some professional teams, and I've seen some funny things happen. What's the funniest thing you've ever seen in a clubhouse? That right there. No, that right. I just saw that look in your eye. Well, there was something you're thinking of. I want to know what that is.
I'm not allowed to tell you about that one, but I'll tell you about a different one. That's what that is. You know the locker room is like Vegas. What happens there stays there. You're not allowed to talk about it. But all right, I'll tell you, this one was odd, and it was during a rain delay, of course. And somehow people came up with this game where they had to guess a number of some, I don't know. We come up with some weird crap. So the gist of it is, if you get it wrong, then you get whacked on the head by a 5-gallon jug, like an empty 5-gallon jug of water, like a Crystal Geyser, Arrowhead 5 gallons. Yeah, I don't know. Don't ask. There's people are smacking $30 million head around, like Miguel Cabrera is getting smacked on the head before a game by a 5-gallon jug. So I don't know why. I don't know why we did that one day in Detroit, but you're at the field a long time and people get delirious. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Look, I worked in the collegiate baseball leagues as an announcer, and I've met some great athletes. Mariano Rivera's son played on one of the teams that I was announcing for. So I actually sat in the booth with Mariano Rivera for 2 hours and got to talk baseball. Probably one of the highlights of my life. But I've seen rain delays where, all of a sudden in the middle of a rain delay, these guys come out and there's music playing and they're just doing a dance off. Like it's freaking like they're in a movie or something, like crazy stuff. Baseball players, they're a different breed.
Hey, when you're playing baseball every single day for 7 months, you got to entertain yourself.
All right, Andrew. Well, I appreciate you joining me tonight. I appreciate everything that you're done. Hey, enjoy retirement. Enjoy. And when I'm ready to buy a house, I'm going to call you. All right.
You got it, man. I'm here for you.
All right, man. I'll talk to you in a minute.
All right. Sounds good.
Have a good one. All right, guys. That was Andrew Romine. What a great interview. That was a lot of fun. You guys, if you have not yet done so, make sure you click like, click subscribe. It helps us out more than you know. Appreciate all the comments tonight. Appreciate everything you guys have done. Man Hour Nation, rise up. All right, Man Hour Nation, we are back. And as promised, we now have an interview lined up with